Doloc Town is a cozy pixel art farm simulation game set in a post-apocalyptic world. Join me as I survive by farming, fishing, mining, foraging, chopping trees, cooking, and doing whatever else I can in this harsh environment. Not only that, there are creatures that are trying to kill us while we explore the wilderness for its mysteries. So let's begin. So after falling from a cliff and landing in a field of Doloc Town, I met this person right here who found me when I fell. So this is Casta, and she was the one who saved our life when we fell. She then told me that I can stay here in the farm, and also taught me various things like how to plant and such, and also given me a task to speak with the mayor in town. And after explaining everything, I then said my goodbyes as she has some plans for the day. To plant a new crop, you gotta sow the seed, water them daily, then harvest them with a scythe. And afterwards, don't forget to fill your watering can at the well. Okay, easy enough. So to grow plants, use the seed at the basin. Ow. Oh. To fill the watering can, use it in the well to keep the crops hydrated. I totally forgot to grab my tools on the box on the right side. I need my tools. I'm dumb. So as you can see, we have the basic pickaxe, the axe, the scythe, the watering can, and a manual workbench, and a box that we can use in order to place items inside. It's an extra space we have in the inventory since we have like limited slots. We have water now. We put water on our plants. Oh, they get colored blue if it's already watered. That's nice. That's a good way to like see if it's already watered. Afterwards, since I didn't really have any plans for the day, I just decided to clean up the area, like mining some rocks, chopping up some trees. Also, you can mine trash here for some random items that is involved with the word trash. Like, let's say a plastic bottle, some scraps that we can use to craft something usable. I actually worked on it all day. Like, look at my stamina bar. It's the blue bar on the top left side. So it's already running out. So I guess we can conclude our day once we don't have any stamina any longer. Or I can try exploring and visit the town to talk to the mayor because it's one of our quests. So you can see my quest on the upper right side. And then remembered I had this manual workbench. So I place it on the ground and I can see that there's a lot of stuff that I can craft. So I crafted myself one basic plant basin. I just wanted to try it out. So here we have another plant basin where we can plant our seed. So in this game, there's something called a tech tree. So every action we do in the game, sometimes it gives us experience points where we can use the said points to unlock some nodes so we are able to make something new. So this is the tech tree. We have agricultural, industrial, and life. So the only thing I can unlock right now would be the agricultural basic, which enables us to make something called a basic plant basin, a wooden one. And by unlocking that, we have a new path towards this thing called the basic irrigation, which enables us to make a manual sprinkler. I then read my mail right here. It says that there's an available backpack at the general store. For sure, we're gonna buy that because our limited inventory slot is pretty bad. Also, the game told me that there's something called a villain's seed shop where we can buy some seeds. Now it's time to explore the area. I'm pretty tempted to chop down the trees, but I remembered I don't really have any stamina. I did harvest some blueberries though, which gives like 25 stamina every time I eat it. So I was pretty curious on how much it fills my bar. It's just a small amount. Hey, but with the stamina, we can now water the plant that we couldn't water because we ran out of stamina. So let's go. Also, I decided to try like getting this trash. And yeah, we got ourselves some plastic bottles. I then took this elevator right here so we can go upwards. So this is pretty cool. And then tried sitting down in a chair because I was just curious what would happen. So it seems we can skip time. So we can move time by 4 times the speed. We can also save while sitting down a bench. So that's pretty handy. And as you can see, the town is pretty run down because there's a lot of really bad environments. How do you call this? Weather conditions that this place has. Anyways, I then headed inside the town hall where I met this guy right here. So this is Claude and he is the mayor of town. So our next task is talk to Kasha about your planting process. Are you here to hang out with me? I've learned how to craft a wooden plant basin. But I don't think I can actually craft a basin yet. Okay, so I need to craft an equipment workbench in order to make the recently learned recipe, the plant basin. Okay, so once we've learned it, we can now make the wooden plant basin. So in this game, in the town hall, there's a public equipment workbench that we can use for free. Since we don't really have the materials to make one ourselves or to make the plant basin because we need the equipment workbench, we need to go to the town hall each time. But once we have enough material to make the equipment workbench, we'll make one our own and then just place it on our farm so we don't need to keep going to the town hall. I decided to look for the general store first before going to the town hall. And here we met this person right here called Holt, and he sells a bunch of random things. There's flour, rice, and yam, thundergrass, wax apple, and a bottled water. I don't really need any of this right now. I just want the bag. 500. I don't have that much coins. Alright, we'll need to figure out a way to make money. And then look for the town hall and eventually stumbled on it. Now we can craft ourselves the plant basin that we wanted to make. If you're wondering what's the difference between the simple one and the wooden one, basically the simple one can only be used once, while the wooden one is permanent, I believe. And reported back to Kasha that I have made the wooden plant basin. You've learned so much already. I just know you'll make that farm flourish. Once you grow and harvest your crops, come find me. I've got a little gift for you. It's a tiller's promise. Alright. Not really sure what a tiller's promise is, but okay. Let's report back to her once we grown our crops. Also, Kasha sells a bunch of food like raw meat, honey, pickles, turnip pickles, and delicious rice bowl. I don't really have the extra cash to buy food, so yeah, we're not buying anything for now. So before the day ended, I wanted to go visit this person called Alchemy. Anyways, Alchemy has dedicated her life in order to research about seeds. She wants to create a version of seeds that would be able to withstand the harsh environment of Doloc. So basically in this game, in order for us to unlock new types of seed, we'll need to look for something called a data disk. They're usually hidden in places that can't be seen by the naked eye. So we need to really pay attention of the environment and find those hidden locations. So yeah, we have a new mission, which would be to locate those discs and give it to Alchemy. Day 2 started pretty good. Since there was rain, I did not need to water my crops. Also, I made a little platform right here with 8 plant basins. So yeah, we're starting to plant a bunch of crops so we can sell it for money. And then added even more platforms because I plan to make even more of these plant basins. Also, I continued cleaning up my farm or my area because there's still a bunch of wood and trash here. Actually, this was a mistake on my part. I should have kept some wood because we'll need them later on. And since I was done with my agenda in my base and I don't really have any seeds to plant more plants, I just decided to do a bit of exploring where I found a bunch of wood down here as well as trash and stones. I of course gotten everything available down here and my plan was to actually just sell everything so I can afford the backpack. I just need 200 gold. And since really I needed the money, I just sold whatever I had on hand that I don't feel like I needed. I just need the 200 gold so I can purchase the backpack so we can have some extra inventory slots because slots is a problem right now. Now that we have 500 now, maybe? Or maybe it takes until tomorrow or something. Hey, there's the drone. It will go now. Alright, let me just store stuff to my storage. Basically, how the drone works is once you sell something, it will go fly towards a town or something. And then it will come back after some time to give you the gold that is worth the item you sold for. I then decided to just continue chopping down some wood and getting some trash because, yeah, we don't have the money yet and we can't really purchase the backpack right now. So heading to the next place, I can see that there are still a lot of areas I haven't explored yet. Wow, look at all these trees. It's 2 gold each per wood, so this is a lot of money. Then continued my exploration as I was very curious on what I can find in this wilderness right here. Looky, there's like this bungee jump. So yeah, this is awesome. Let's go. This area was pretty huge, and there was this giant stump right here that was blocking the way. Also, if you notice, I can actually grab onto walls and can continue climb up. So we have a problem here. My axe can't really penetrate that giant wood right there. So yeah, I guess this is the only area we can travel for now, unless we upgrade our axe. So I just decided to expend all my energy chopping down wood and gathering materials. There's also the scarecrow right here, which I thought I may be able to like get, but it seems it's just like a background design or something. I then continued my exploration. I eventually found myself at the port. Talked to this person right here called Gabriel. He usually just hangs out here at the port. I think he has a job here or something. I'm not really sure. I wasn't paying attention. I also met this guy right here called Lightman. So I'm assuming he's a person who would operate like a lighthouse or something. Anyways, he was nice enough to give us like an old fishing rod so we can try out fishing. So how fishing works is you charge your fishing rod to control the distance, and then you lift the rod when something bites. Afterwards, you just follow the color in the judgment line. So basically, if it's green, you hold. If it's red, release. Then tap for the yellows for an extra reward. Alright, so let's try this out. I don't have stamina. That's amazing. Alright, let's try fishing tomorrow. Also, after chopping a bunch of trees, I actually got myself some tree seeds. So I just replanted them because, you know, they're gonna be useful wood later once they grow up. The next day, my plants still weren't ready for harvest, so I guess I can go on an adventure today. As usual, being a menace to the environment, I chop down every wood that I see in my vicinity. And with the money that we have received so far from selling random things, I can finally buy myself the bag. Now we have an extra 10 slots. Let's go. We won't be having problems of having too many items next time. Okay, so now that it's the next day, it's time to try out fishing. So hold and throw. And I guess wait for the fish to bite. And there we go. So how does this work? Okay, I'm pretty dumb. Alright, let's try again. I think that takes a lot of my stamina. I'm not sure. Okay, so every time there's like green, I hold. Bonus for the yellow. Keep holding. And the fish bar is on the bottom. I guess if we... Oh, there we go. Okay, I understand how it works now. Let's continue fishing then. Once again, I became the environmental menace. I was actually looking for a place called a River Valley. I just didn't know where it was, so I just explored here and there, chopped some wood, and mined some stones along the way. I then unlocked the craftsman on my tech tree, and now we have the ability to make an equipment workbench. Also, I'm very interested in the industrial basic as it makes me able to craft a smelter. There's also our irrigation, so we don't need to water our plants anymore because we have our manual sprinkler. Honestly, there are just so many things that I could unlock. I also unlocked the pot and as well as the ability to make myself a storage. Anyways, I finally made time to visit the seed shop because we really need to plant because some of our plant basins doesn't even have seeds. I just like put it there. So this is the villain. He's a retired android, I guess, and now he just sells seed in this place. For the prices of the seed, the endiam seed, the one we're currently planting, is pretty cheap, only 15 gold each. There's also something called a thundergrass seed. We should check that out eventually. For now, I don't really have that much gold, so I'm gonna focus on just buying the endiam seeds. Oh, wait, what? The plant basin disappears? So let me explain. So the basin that disappeared was actually the plant basin that was made simple, the dash simple. So the wooden ones that we had a quest like earlier when we made it at the town hall, those are the basins that don't disappear after one use. So we're gonna be focusing our effort on making the ones that don't disappear so we don't keep making a basin to plant our seeds. Anyways, I reported to Kasha that I have fully grown the endiam. So talking to Kasha right here, she told me how there are harsh conditions in Doloc Town. So she told me that there will be sometimes acid rain and most of the crops will die upon being hit by acid rain. But good thing the endiam, the cheapest seed available, is actually resistant to acid rain. Anyway, she told me not to worry regarding the acid rain. She'll remind me again once acid rain does happen. By the way, coming here, take this. Dad used to take me collecting resin all the time. I think you could hang it on the tree at the farm. What? Resin? Oh, okay. So we actually need trees in the farm so we can collect resin. To craft a manual sprinkler. Oh, I actually made a huge mistake at the, early game where I destroyed most of the trees on my farm. But don't worry, if you remember, I planted a bunch of seeds, so we'll just wait for them to grow and they can be our resin sources. Then went inside this place called a caboose. I'm not really sure what that means or what a caboose is. But hey, inside we met the strongest person in town called Gerald. So he is one of the Doloc guards. I'm not really sure how many they are, but he just mentions he's one of them. So I assume from this conversation, he'll be the one responsible to make some constructions on our base. So yeah, I guess we can come back here next time once we, have the materials, have the money to actually make some constructions. And I went to the general store because I wanted to sell some of the fully grown NDM seeds, and I'll probably buy a couple more seeds as well because I plan on making like more of the basins. By the way, I added even more platforms because, I really just want to have a lot of these plants so I can get a lot of profit. I then harvested the 8 remaining endiums that I have planted, and our next step would be to make a bunch of basins that are permanent and not the one-time use one. My agenda for the day is to look for River Valley but at the same time also scavenge wood, stone, and trash. And well, this actually concludes day 4 for now. That's the only thing I did today. We then skipped to day 6 actually. I did a little oopsies where I actually clicked the sleep button in the tent twice. So it skipped like a day. So yeah, my bad. Day 6, you guessed it, more foraging of random goods while still looking for wherever the heck River Valley is. After a while, I went to the town hall so I can make myself an equipment workbench, so we don't need to come here anymore. And by the way, you can actually use your pickaxe to remove stuff you already placed, so you can place them again on a different spot. And since we have such a little space here, I tried my best to make a lot of platforms so we can at least have more space to put all of our tools. And so with all my available wood and soil, I then made about 7 pieces of these wooden type basic plant basin. I realize how I need even more wood and also soil to complete this entire setup right here. But for now, this is good enough. They will eventually grow and give us some money. For the soil and wood, we'll need to venture again and mine and cut some wood. Then went back to where alchemy was, and maybe River Valley is on the left side of where her lab is. So I was just very hopeful that maybe River Valley is on the left side right here. But well, it wasn't. I'm not sure how to tell if it's River Valley. I usually check up my map if it says River Valley, but yeah, it doesn't feel like River Valley. If it was, the quest probably would trigger and finish it. But since it didn't, this is not River Valley. Still, it was a fruitful foraging day, so it's time to sleep now. On day 7, finally it happened. It is acid rain. So Kasha paid us a visit here to tell us about the acid rain. Not only there is acid rain, but there's also the scorching sun. Also, if ever we have some electrical gears, it will stop working once exposed to extreme weather. Crops won't grow and they'll eventually wither away as well because of the acid rain. But there's an exception to this. Crops that are considered end crops are resistant to these extreme conditions. Just like the endiam that we're currently planting. So we're pretty much safe on this weather, except for us, we'll be burned by the acid. Anyways, Kasha then gave me something called a plastic mulch. We can basically put this on our plant basin in order to cover it and protect it from the acid rain. But we have no worries regarding this right now because all our plants are endiam. But once we have other crops that's not an endiam or an end crop, then we can put plastic over it so it will be safe. So I tested it out. So basically you just put like a plastic film over the plant and it will be safe from the acid rain for, I think, good for 2 to 3 days, I believe. But that doesn't stop me from exploring today. It only gradually decreases my HP, and it's not like there's anything that's trying to kill us except for this acid rain, so I don't really mind losing HP. And so I just gathered a couple of fiber, wood, and stone. Day 8, my agenda was simple. Since I have gathered a bunch of wood and soil, I can now make even more basins. So the only thing left now was to buy even more seeds. And it seems like I can actually build some basins like in between these platforms. I actually did not figure out until now, since I saw that I can actually make some. So I added an additional 4 basins. By that, I meant this area right here. So we now have about a total of 20 basins that we can plant our crops in. Then went to the seed shop and bought a bunch of endiam seeds from Villain. Did not really want to try the thundergrass seed as I'm afraid of acid rain. So for now, let's focus on endiam. And then visited an area in town which I didn't yet. And here we have a cutscene. So I assume this is going to be important in leading us to wherever the heck River Valley is, because they're talking about the River Valley entrance. So they're looking for a person who has been lost a few days ago, looking for some old ships. So they're gonna be closing the road to River Valley when we finally found it. They're closing the area. But anyways, at least we found where we can go in order to get to River Valley. I then met Lank right here. Lank the Scavenger. He told me that I had a potential to be a scavenger. Well, this guy doesn't know I've been scavenging for the past 8 days. So yeah, I do have the potential. Anyways, he told me that he has lost his pickaxe a few days ago and he would like me to find it, as well as he gave me a quest to like pick up some trash, about 10 pieces I believe. So yay, a quest. Hope we can get a good reward from this. And so I entered a certain tunnel, and on the other side there were a bunch of wood, rocks, and trash. So this was a pretty good area to scavenge. I'm pretty happy. I focused my efforts on the trash though because I had a quest. Actually, there was only 5 pieces of trash, and with this we have completed our quest. By doing so, he gave me 4 pieces of cardboard boxes, or old cardboard. He told me it is for making a brand new box. You remember the box so we can store items in? We can now craft that. Thus, he gave me the recipe for it. So wow, okay, we can carry even more items. We just need to build a lot of boxes. Anyways, this guy also sold a bunch of items, and looking at his stuff, it's mostly something that you can get out of trash. So hey, if ever we need something from trash, we can just buy it from this guy. And then went back to the area where we gathered a bunch of trash and collected all the wood and stone that was available there. Day 9 was another harvest day for our endiam. As you can see, the basins didn't get destroyed. Really good, right? So yeah, we're getting a bunch of monies again because of our endiams. Let's go. I'm not really sure what to use the money for aside from seeds, but we'll eventually need money, right? Money is always everything. The thing pretty dumb that I did was I actually didn't know I need to pop the recipes. It says consumable, but I did not do it. So now I finally understood why I couldn't craft stuff that I already learned. So okay, wow, I was so dumb. So yeah, we need to learn the recipe first. Also, in my mailbox was a mail regarding how to repair stuff. So I received a recipe for that as well to make myself some wooden patches. I continued my foraging adventures and I found the Scavenger Man's special pickaxe. So wow, okay, we can return this to him. I hope we can get like some gold reward or something. If not, then a recipe is fine too. The next day, I remembered that we have something called a tech tree. So it's time to unlock stuff that we can unlock here. So first, we have this thing called the Wasteland Materials where we can now make some plant basin using old tires. And then I unlock something that enables me to make some resin collectors. I then went to town and visited the blacksmith. I've never been here before and I was curious on what I can do here. So this guy is Merlin and he's the blacksmith of Doloc Town. He also sells various ores and coal, so if ever we need something, we can just buy it from him. Also, he can upgrade our tools for us, but right now it's not available. So yeah, let's just move on. So going back to our main agenda, we then went back to Scavenger Man or Lank and gave him his special pickaxe. And as a reward, he gave me a recipe for a platform using rubbish. And finally, we can now go to River Valley. The restriction access here has been lifted already, so we're now at River Valley. So we met this guy called Orlando right here, and he's the master of the Doloc Guild. He told me how River Valley has just been reopened and unarmed people like myself shouldn't be here. And again, he gave me a quest to kill like monsters with my tools. What? I thought that unarmed people weren't allowed here. But anyways, I accepted his offer and yeah, let's go defeat some monsters. He then asked me if I had a jetpack and I asked him, what's a jetpack? So he lent me his jetpack, and with a jetpack you can now double jump in the game. Wow, we can double jump. That's awesome. Okay, this is cool. So we gotta slay like 5 chameleon bugs. Oh. Using my pickaxe? It barely does any damage. Don't worry, they don't really do that much damage, so we're fine. Alright. I have a lot of HP to spare, so this is fine. So 3 more of these bugs and we're done. There are also these flying monsters here, but since we only have our tools, we can't really do anything to them. But I continued to defeat the chameleon bug so we can finish our quest. I also found this area at the River Valley where there were a lot of trash. So woohoo, treasure. And also I was dying. Just look at my HP on top. So while exploring around, I actually found one of the discs that Alchemy needed. So okay, nice. We finished her quest and we unlocked a new seed because of this. I also found this area right here where I met this really unique merchant. So this is Kuma and he is a traveling merchant and he sells all kinds of rare stuff, he said. Checking his wares, I can see some unique stuff that you don't normally see in the NPC except for the raw meat. There's also this thing called a rescue pager where you can summon a rescue drone to teleport you back to the farm instantly. That's awesome, but it's like 300 gold though. I then used this giant recycling machine to recycle a small mechanical scrap. It costs like 20 gold to operate this, but yeah, we disassembled that thing and got ourselves some random rubbish. Day 11, most of my endiams are now ready for harvest. So I'll be harvesting it later and we can get a lot of money. So our main focus right now is how to make this resin collector because we have a quest to make a manual sprinkler, and to do that we'll need some resins. Also, look at this. Our scavenger friend gave us a storage shelf. So with this we can actually place a lot of boxes inside. Place the shelf on top of the platform near my tent, and I think that's a pretty optimal place to place it. Also, with all the cardboard that we have collected so far, I made myself like 4 boxes. And these boxes I can put in the storage shelf. They basically work as like a lot of storage boxes inside the shelf. So as you can see, it's like this where we can store stuff. We can also just take the box and bring it with us, or we can put our current box so we can see what's inside without making use of its uses. You can only open and close the box around 15 times. So the shelf is really handy regarding this because we can just place our current box and like check inside or get the items inside without making use of its uses. By the way, I never really talked about my cooking pot. So this is a cooking pot. You can basically place like 2 types of crops or any type of food inside, but you'll have to wait for some time for it to cook. Yeah, we can come back and then an item will eventually just fly away from this thing and we can loot it. I then went to the seed store to buy even more seeds, but here I met Kasha instead. I then asked her regarding the weather conditions. So every January and March, the weather is mild and only comes every 6 days. But if it's February and April, it's nearly half the time. Play with harsh conditions. Oh my god, this is crazy. Oh wow, you can actually see what kind of weather we'll have with the weather station. She told me that I can also build this weather station on my farm, and she gave me a recipe to craft it. So okay, cool. Now we have an idea of what the weather will be once we craft this thing. So I then went back to River Valley. My main agenda for the day would be to explore this place and look for some ores. Because with some ores, we can make ourselves some smelter. But first, I totally forgot to report back to Orlando regarding killing the bugs. So I told him I already killed the bugs. And afterwards, he then welcomed me to the Doloc Guild. He said that I've been a huge help. And due to some unspeakable issues, it's actually just him and me in the guild. Alright, cool. I'm already the vice command of this guild. He told me to go to the shooting range to meet Cod. He will brief me on that, I guess. And so I went down the port to look for wherever the heck the shooting range was. I honestly couldn't find it. Anyways, I met an engineer right here. It's Muddy. And we can buy some drones from Muddy. It's very expensive though, 5,000 gold. It's a transport drone and station. I think it's the one that we use at home. Not really sure. Eventually discovered where the shooting range was after looking around. Took me a while, but hey, here we are. Anyways, this is Cod. And he handles selling the firearms and also going to like the shooting range. And for me to try this out, he then gave me a worn out drone and a simple launcher. Can you hear me? The voice system for the range was just repaired. The combat drone needs to be equipped with a firearm to shoot. Follow instructions to install it first. You can only equip one drone at a time, but you can carry multiple in your bag to swap them anytime. So that's interesting. And after equipping the drone and its firearm, it's finally time to test it out. So just look at this. It's only a simple launcher. It has like a pretty decent firing rate, just like your ordinary decent gun that you usually use in the startup games. I then reported to COD that I have finished his shooting simulation. And afterwards, I checked out whatever he was selling. So checking up his firearms. There are a bunch of other guns here, but they're pretty expensive and I can't really afford them yet. So let's save up some money and we can like buy one and try one out later on. And since I still had like a bunch of stamina lying around unused, I then went to the River Valley so I can collect some ores. Specifically, the bronze ore so we can make a smelter. Also, now that we have a drone, I tried out shooting like the fly monsters and oh my god, if you actually shoot one, it will call all its friends to attack you. So we're kind of in trouble here. So I just ran away and went back and they're not aggressive anymore. I actually meant copper ores. But anyways, this is the rock that I'm currently mining, the copper ore. And we need about 10 of these in order to make a smelter, I believe. And just looking at this place, it's full of rocks. So this rock that looks like a pointy rock is actually coal, and we also need coal in order to make the copper ingots. So yeah, the River Valley is a great source for all of this. And since it was already night, I then went home, but I was lucky enough to meet Orlando. I actually still had a quest that needs to be reported to him. I told him that I have finished COD's assignment, and then he told me about a certain quest. You know, the general store person. He actually needed like 15 pieces of the gel that the chameleon slimes drop. So we'll need to hunt those as well for this quest. Oh yeah, remember the cooking pot? So this is the result. Mixed and foods, which gives like 25 stamina and I believe 25 health. On day 12, I replanted all the endiam that I have already harvested. Also, if you notice on the top right, there are cabbages. Actually, Alchemy gave that to me like days ago. I just totally forgot about it. But hey, we have Chinese cabbages as well. This is what I mean about the usefulness of box. You can just put it on the storage and the amount of uses doesn't really go down. So you can just interact with it here to prevent it from breaking. Also, now that I have enough material, I then made myself the smelter. So with this, we can now make ourselves some ingots. With the smelter, we can now make some ingots, except it needs some coal. But I remember I do have coal. It's in one of my boxes. So hey, we can start processing this now. Let's go. As you can see, we don't really have that much materials to make a lot. And to make ourselves some, I believe the manual sprinkler requires like 2 copper ingots. Also resins. We really need to make the resin collector because we need resins in order to make other stuff in this farm. So while I did not really know what to do for the day, I just decided to process all the garbage I have into reusable goods, like this wire right here. I made it to electric wire. Also, as you can see, we now have some grown trees. The only thing we need is the resin collector. I totally forgot that I was given by Kasha a resin collector and I planted it on a random tree down here since we didn't have trees before. So hey, we have 2 pieces of resin, so that's good enough. So time to chop all these trees because valuable wood. I then went to Alchemy to give her the disc that I recently gotten. And because of this, we now have unlocked the ability to purchase Chinese cabbage seed from Villain. She then gave me a quest to meet a certain mysterious figure at around 6 to 10 p.m. at the treaty port. So yeah, we need to keep an eye on that. Resume my activity at the river valley because we need like 15 gels as well as more bronze ores and coals. I then visited Kuma again to see what he was selling. I wanted to buy like the instant return home thingy, but he was not selling it anymore. I guess his items for sale are randomized every day or something. I actually found a hidden spot here. Oh wait, what? Okay, I found a hidden spot. Cool. It has like 10 ores. That's awesome. Nice. Our ore problem is almost solved. And went to the treaty port at around, what time is this? Let's say 7:50 p.m. and tried out the boat. It's actually pretty cool. I then went to a certain building where I will meet the mysterious figure right here. And it's actually the mayor. So the mayor talked about how bad the condition for Doloc is, even if everyone imagined that it would be like a bustling town full of a lot of stuff. Anyways, we are meeting in incognito because he doesn't want anyone to know that he still cares about the town, since a lot of people already lost hope on this town. But he said my arrival has changed his mind. So the mayor said that people are quite happy that I was here in Doloc Town. I'm not really sure why. What I did, I was just farming. So TLDR, we actually have a mission to clear the river passage, but it's currently blocked by a giant boulder which we need to clear, and in order to do that, we'll need a better pickaxe. And after our little talk was done, I then went home because it's already nighttime and it was time to sleep. And look, some of my copper ingots are already finished. So let's make more before we sleep, so when we wake up, it's already finished. Next day, now that I have some copper ingots, I can now make a bunch of resin collectors. I then attach it to the trees that were in my farm, and all we need to do now was wait for resin to be produced. Actually, here, the singular tree that I have on the bottom part of my farm has one. Anyways, after getting the resin from this collector, I then grabbed it because I want to put it on another tree instead that's in my farm. Watered my plants before I continued on with my day. I then talked to Merlin and told him that I have finished smelting the ingots like he asked. He then gave me 3 pieces of ingots as a reward for doing a good job. Let's go. I then remembered that Merlin actually sells coal, and I really need coal in order to smelt my copper, so I bought a lot of coal from him. I then ventured out to River Valley to get the remaining gel I needed in order to finish one of my quests, and continued mining more copper ores and coal if I see them. I then went to this area where there's like this mosquito that is questioning my existence, but oh my god, they're aggressive. What the heck? I just want the ore and I'm leaving. Alright, so actually, I want to see what's in here before I go. Oh, I can pass by here, but then again, what are these? I wanna break this first before I leave. Oh my god, that hurts. Oh, it's coal. Nice. Go crazy. Can I unlock this? Nope. Am I doomed here? Oh my god, they're chasing me down. I gotta leave. Yeah, I gotta leave. I'm dying. I then went home and processed a bunch of copper ingots so we can start making our sprinklers. I had enough to make like one sprinkler. I'm just lacking resins now and we can like make a lot of this. And look at the area it covers. It actually covers a lot of area. I can like sprinkle water on about 4 of my crops, or I mean 8 in total. On day 14, it was another acid rain and I had to protect my Chinese cabbage since they're not immune to this, unlike my endiam, which are resistant to acid. Afterwards, I managed to make one more resin collector. I swear, we just need the resin collector in order to make the 3 manual sprinklers we need to finish our quest. I then went to the gun shop because now I have the money to try out a different gun. So I decided to buy the continuous launcher because it looks like it's a bigger gun. So yeah, probably better than the current gun we have. See here. Oh, awesome. Damn. Okay, let's go. Afterwards, I then reported to Orlando that I have given the 15 pieces of gel to Hope. We had only one quest remaining, which was to build a manual sprinkler. I did not really want to work today, so I decided to just sleep. On day 15, finally there was no acid rain and most of my endiums were ready for harvest. So I harvested everything. Also, some of my resins collector were ready, so I can start collecting some resins. Nice, we can make more sprinklers. I now had like 2 sprinklers, but I still did not understand how this works. My plants didn't even need sprinkling because it's mostly raining, so yeah, as you can see, we just installed our sprinkler. So how a sprinkler works, you need to have a water source nearby, and when you turn it on, it will sprinkle water, but you have to manually do it. So it's basically not automatic yet. It's a manual sprinkler after all. It will only go up to like a certain range. We have our 3rd sprinkler here, but this high, it doesn't reach where the water source is. So we can't really make it work yet. Anyways, let's report to Kaisa that we have crafted the 3 sprinklers that she asked. Oh, so she told me that the problem that I had earlier was because I was lacking an item called a wooden barrel as a water source. Alright, so we finished all our quests and I believe this is it for the demo version of Doloc Town. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed your stay here. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe button. Bye now.